Friends, welcome to my channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It's not difficult for you, but it's nice for me, and we're starting. Elliot Goldman arrived home an hour before his wife Hannah. He took a beer out of the fridge and sat down to rest. He noticed one of his wife's women's magazines on the coffee table. The main article on the cover was 10 ways to find out that your spouse is cheating. Elliot usually ignored or even laughed at such a title. However, in the last month or so, he has felt a change in the force his marital coupling. He read the article and immediately reproached himself for trusting such lists. And yet, the seed of doubt about his wife's behavior after 6 years of marriage has been sown. A few days later, one of his colleagues came to see him after lunch. "Hey, Al, I don't know if this is true or not, but I saw your wife having lunch with a guy. She works with several men. I suppose it's not unusual for her to have lunch with one of them from time to time. But do they usually hold hands with a guy, stroke each other and hug?" He pulled out his phone and showed it to Elliot. After watching the video for a couple of minutes, Elliot remarked, "They really look very cozy, don't they? Did you happen to hear what they were talking about?" "No, I was too far away. I know that they smiled, laughed, and looked at each other with love. Did you see where they went after that?" "No. By the time I paid the bill, they had already left." "Well, it's probably nothing, but I need to talk to Hannah. Send me the video." That evening, Elliot returned home shortly before Hannah. "Hey, big guy, how was your day?" "Interesting. How about your day? Anything special?" "It's the same thing. How much time do you have for your lunch break?" "Why would you want to know that? Are you planning to surprise me and invite me to lunch one day?" "That would be great. I just wanted to know how much time you have. It would make a difference which restaurant we could go to. Officially, we only have half an hour, but we can stay longer if we let the secretary know. Have you had such long lunch breaks lately? Do these questions make sense?" "Okay, spit it out. Why are you actually asking these questions?" Elliot took out his phone and showed Hannah the video. Hannah replied, "So what? It looks like you're really friends with this person." Hannah laughed. "You mean because he's gentle? You were both gentle. It's so sweet." "What are you talking about?" Elliot began to get angry. "It's so sweet. You're jealous. You're jealous of Spencer. We touch each other the way I touch all my girlfriends. Believe me, there is nothing romantic about our touch. I guess I should be flattered that you're jealous. It means that you value our marriage if you're upset about a possible competitor." Hannah smiled broadly. "Al, remember, looks can be deceiving." "Well, I can't say that he is. If you really want to know, talk to everyone I work with. Better yet, go to Spencer's Facebook page. He does not hide his gender preferences." A few days later, Hannah called her husband to tell him that she would have to work late and that he would go and eat without her. This almost never happened. Hannah's job just didn't require extra time in the evenings. Elliot remembered the list. Unexpected delay at work was number 4 on the list of signs of cheating. Elliot went into his favorite restaurant and ordered food. His plan was to bring his poor, overworked wife dinner if she was really doing it. If he's wrong, he'll just join her for dinner. The guard knew Elliot and let him in. Elliot declined the guard's offer to inform his wife of his arrival. He wanted to surprise her. God, how he wanted to surprise her. As he approached her office, he heard 2 voices, one male and one female. Stepping softly, he stood at her door and listened. Hearing his wife say, "Oh, that's really good," Elliot, looking forward to the upcoming date, quickly opened the door. Hannah and the man she worked with were standing over the architect's desk, looking at a large outline of an organizational chart. They were both fully clothed, and nothing seemed out of place. "Elliot, it's a surprise. What are you doing here?" "Me. I just wanted to bring my loving wife dinner." "It's so sweet. Did you bring dinner for Jimmy too?" Trying to think fast, Elliot replied, "There are 2 dinners here." "So you've already eaten?" "Yes, I've already eaten." "Well, I have to go home. I'll see you at home." "Sorry to barge in. Jimmy, I want to see my husband off. I'll be back in a second." They headed for the elevator. As soon as the door closed, Hannah got angry. "I'm sorry, but I don't believe in a good husband. You've never done anything like this before. To enter my office without even knocking? If this has something to do with your stupid jealousy again, we might have a problem." We'll talk when I get home. Thoroughly scolded, Elliot waited for Hannah to whip him. It all started before Hannah took off her coat and hung it up. At first I thought it was cute that you were jealous of me over lunch with Spencer. And now you're checking up on me because I had to work late? Jimmy asked me if you were always this suspicious. Elliot, this is getting more than annoying. If you think I'm bullying you, I want to hear it now. She stood with her arms folded and a frown on her face. Well, the fact is that I love you very much and I know that other men appreciate your beauty as much as I do. I always thought I was so lucky to get married. I find it hard to believe that other men don't hit on you. I'm afraid you like it. What a load of bullshit. Well, other men are bothering me. Not that often, but sometimes. But that's not the problem. The problem is that you think I can really respond to the courtship. Are you really that insecure about our relationship? A friend? Yes, dear. I'm sorry. Please don't be mad at me. I love you so much. Well, you won't be able to love me in bed tonight. You need to sleep in the guest bedroom tonight, although I hope you stay up all night figuring out what you need to do. Hannah went to the bar and poured herself a drink. Elliot went to prepare the guest bedroom. It was chilly at Goldman's house that night. Elliot was glad Hannah didn't look so upset this morning. Elliot, I'm really sorry that I left you last night. I'm just disappointed that you seem to be thinking about me and my possible betrayal. Look, I take my marriage vows very seriously. I haven't contacted anyone since we got married, and I'm not going to. You don't seem to understand that looks can be deceiving. Moreover, I have never doubted your devotion to our marriage. I suppose I can expect the same. I just don't understand why this is not the case. After making this statement, she shed tears. Elliot felt miserable. I'm sorry, honey. You helped me come to my senses. Please forgive me. I won't doubt you anymore. Hannah came over and kissed Elliot. Let's put all this talk of espionage and adultery in the past. Our marriage is too important for us to sabotage it by mistake. Remember, soon we will add little ones to our family. We cannot raise children in an atmosphere where one of us does not trust the other. That's enough for today. I'll see you at dinner. And I won't be working late. She smiled slyly. Over the next few days, Elliot tried his best to do what he hoped Hannah would appreciate. Flowers, sweets, chocolate, nuts, and caramel bars, and invite her to dinner. The atmosphere of the house has softened considerably. One evening, Elliot was balancing his online account and his online credit card account. Everything looked fine until he got to the account for the joint credit card with Hannah. 3 days at a local 2-star motel were paid for. He realized that these 3 days were the days of his business trip. Damn it, not again. Remembering the last disaster, Elliot didn't want to even think about asking her about it until he was sure that this was what he was afraid of. He began to think about how to find out before he made a fool of himself again or, worse, jeopardized his marriage. Elliot went to the hotel and asked the desk clerk if he had been on duty these 3 days. He then asked if the hotel had any surveillance footage from that period. And so it was. For $250, he saw the recording. Eventually, after fast rewinding the tape showed Hannah opening the door to the room. There was a man with her, dressed casually. They entered. It was a couple of hours before Hannah left. Although it seems Hannah never stayed overnight, she did make several visits of varying lengths over the course of 3 days. The guy came and went several times alone, usually carrying food. Elliot got a copy of the recording. Elliot went through all the possible scenarios that could suggest that Hannah's visits to the motel were for a legitimate purpose. He couldn't imagine anything except what he was most afraid of. Is it time to meet Hannah again? Elliot needed more proof. He talked to his lawyer. By the time he left his office, he had a divorce application at work and a private investigator under contract. The detective hid cameras and tape recorders in the house, and Elliot hid one in Hannah's car. For several weeks, daily video searches and recordings yielded no unusual results until a digital voice recorder in the car recorded part of Hannah's candid conversation. Hey, Craig, can we talk? I'm in the car on my way to work. Okay, me too. Are you ready to tell us about our little adventure at the hotel? Yes. It was one of the most exciting things I've ever done. So you don't have a problem with what we did? Not really. I just wish we weren't so secretive. You know we can't talk about this in the office. You never know who might be listening. Well, you can always tell your husband about it. Well, yes, of course. As if he'd understand why I needed it. Do you think we could ever do something like this again? I don't know. We need to choose the right time. I don't want to explain what we're doing. The possible consequences are too terrible. Okay, I'll wait. It's worth it. Okay, but next time you'll pay for the room. They both giggled, and the conversation ended. Elliot was fuming. Let's see what this fool has to say about this. Copies of the video and recordings were sent to his lawyer. A copy of the prenuptial agreement should have been attached to the divorce application. The adultery she committed would have left her with what she brought into the marriage. Elliot will tell the lawyer when to pull the trigger. Hannah took off her coat and threw her purse on the couch. Elliot was sitting at the kitchen table drinking beer. His laptop was in front of him, but it was turned towards the living room. There was an envelope next to the computer. There was a digital voice recorder on the other side. Judging by the crappy grin on your face, you've got something up your sleeve. You better not fall for the bait of adultery anymore. It's not going to end so well this time. I admit you fooled me, Hannah. This time I have proof. It should be good. Show me this so-called proof. Elliot played a video of the hotel room where Hannah went in and out, sometimes spending more than an hour there. Is that all? Before I say anything, what else do you have? Elliot played back the recording of the conversation in the car. His confidence was waning, given Hannah's smug attitude. When Hannah heard the recording of the call, she smiled. It's going to cost you a lot, asshole. First, the video. I agree that it shows me going in and out of a hotel room with a man. His name is David. What you don't see is that his sick wife is in the room. Don't you remember that my office helps to maintain a homeless shelter in Fairview? David and his wife used their time at the shelter just as they were starting to get back on their feet. The shelter agreed to pay for 1 week at the motel. They needed more time. Craig and I decided to help them, even though we weren't going to. I paid for 3 more days before they got into the apartment under the supervision of the staff of the mental health center. David's wife is a former soldier, physically disabled and suffering from PTSD. I spent some time in the room talking to them about where they were moving to and the job prospects for David. I tried to support them and cheer them up. The reason Craig and I were secretive was that we could lose our volunteer positions because we went against agency policy. If the agency had made exceptions to its rule on the duration of support, everyone else would have expected it too. They don't have a budget for it. If our company found out that we had been kicked out by an agency for which they are the main contributors, it could have a negative impact on our work. I don't think they would have fired us, but it could have affected our future promotions and promotions. The conversation with Craig is now easy to understand, knowing what the secret was. Play the recording again. See if you hear anything in our conversation that specifically mentions love or cheating on our spouses. You'll hear that you took our conversation about our secret act of kindness and turned it into something sinister. You just had to make some assumptions. But, can't we talk about this without? No. You don't deserve any respect after what you've done. You say you love me, but you don't trust me. I'm not sure I can stay married to a man who doesn't trust me. Are those divorce papers in front of you? Yes, but I don't have to. Shut up. After your last attack of distrust of me, I wondered what to do if you don't trust me again. I've come to the conclusion that just leaving you won't be enough. It won't hurt you because you obviously don't care too much about me if you can believe that I want another man. I realized something else. Over the past few years, you've been the one who got a new wife. You are. Hannah, I swear to God, I've never touched anyone else. Oh, spare me the theatrics. I'm sick of your bigotry. I didn't mean another human woman. I was talking about business. You are so engrossed in business development and preparing to take over management in a few years that the business has become your wife. I think if you could use it, you wouldn't need me at all. Elliot was silent. That's what you're going to do if you want us to stay married. Keep in mind, I don't care what you decide. However, I will agree to stay married. Part of my reasoning will be that I will enjoy taking revenge on you every day until I am satisfied. The other reason I'll stay married is because I'd just as quickly get rid of all the confusion, hassle, and spending money on lawyers that can come with an unpleasant divorce. And believe me, if I decide to get divorced, it will be terrible. Darling, I will do everything to save our marriage. Tell me, what can I do? Please give me a chance. Damn you. You've made me lose my train of thought. Oh, yes, the divorce petition. Have your lawyer destroy this divorce petition and rewrite the prenuptial agreement instead. The first is to get rid of the part about if one of the parties can prove that the other committed adultery, and then add the part that I get 25% of your business and 60% of your assets, and alimony in the amount of $5,000 per month for 5 years, regardless of who initiates the divorce and regardless of the grounds. If that sounds rude, well, tough shit. I have to do something that scares you enough to stop these fraudulent accusations of cheating. I want you to think long and hard about what it will cost if you persist in not trusting me. This signs of deception, shit stops right here, right now. Do you want to keep them? Yes. That's a good answer. What I said is the conditions under which we can stay married. Call me when you decide. Hannah left the house and drove away. Elliot was desperate. Why can't I learn? I'm such a fool. I should have trusted her. What will happen to my trust in her? Maybe she's right about me paying more attention to business than to her. I really don't want a divorce. Maybe I don't deserve it. He called his lawyer and told him to reject the divorce and instead renegotiate the prenuptial agreement. His lawyer protested vigorously, but to no avail. The next day, Elliot got a call from a private investigator. Do you still want me to look after your wife? No, just send me the last bill. I can't do it now. I have to see how long it will take me to remove all the cameras and voice recorders. However, you can save money if you take them off and return them to me yourself. It would help me, as the catch and adulterer business is really booming right now. You know how they say, blessed are the scammers, because they keep private investigators in business. He chuckled. Of course I can do it. Elliot left work early in case Hannah came home. He took down all the cameras, which was no easy task. Some were in high places, and he strained his back in the process of searching. When he reached for the dictaphone in the kitchen cabinet next to the home phone, he accidentally pushed it even deeper. Trying to reach out and reach the tape recorder, he strained his back even more. He barely made it to the chiropractor. Fortunately, the chiropractor was able to provide assistance. He was given muscle relaxants and told not to strain his back for a month or so. Elliot had a new prenuptial agreement ready. He was about to call Hannah to sign when a private investigator called. Hey kid, I thought you'd already given me the equipment. I need it as soon as possible. Damn it. I hurt my back trying to get the last recorder. With the trip to the chiropractor, I completely forgot about it. I have everything in my basement except for one dictaphone. I'll go home right now and bring everything to you this afternoon. After lunch, Elliot went home. It was obvious that Hannah had cooked breakfast and hadn't cleaned up. Elliot reached for the last recorder. Not wanting to injure his back, Elliot took out a grabber. It took several attempts, but Elliot grabbed the recorder and pulled it out. He noticed that there was a recording made since the last check. On the way to the office, Elliot decided to listen to the recording. It was Hannah and the man he thought was Craig. It was a face-to-face conversation, not a phone call. They were in the living room together, he assumed. He heard Hannah suggest, "Do you want a drink first?" "Yes, we have plenty of time. Don't we?" "Yes. Well, my husband won't be home for a few more hours, but I have to get back to work by 2 o'clock. Did he say anything about a prenup?" "He said that everything will be ready any day now. I can't wait to file for divorce and become a single woman again. A rich single woman. Hey, what about me? I thought we were getting married. Don't you think your wife will be upset that we're getting married? It's all right. I'm just waiting for the right moment. I don't want to be completely impoverished because of her. But your sweetheart is going to be filthy rich soon. Do you really think that I won't take care of you? But you don't have any money yet, do you?" "Great. Another man who doesn't believe in me," Hannah laughed. "I have to admit that you handled it flawlessly. A magazine article on the coffee table. God, I had to put up with these fruits for 3 dinners before that damn friend of Elliot's finally saw us. I was afraid that I would have to use Spencer on the table to get his attention. Then the evening work with Jimmy. It's good that Elliot came on time. Jimmy was upset that he had to stay late at work because of something that could obviously be done during the day in 15 minutes. How did you find out about cameras and dictaphones?" "I just assumed his lawyer would recommend it. I searched for a couple of days before I found them in the house and one recording device in the car. I just checked it out. Now they are all removed. The best part is the motel fee and the fake phone call. I'm glad you gave me the script. I think I would have ruined everything if I had to improvise. I had to choose my words carefully so that they could be interpreted in two ways. It worked perfectly. Everything worked perfectly. You're so smart. It's scary. Well, there was one trap that didn't work. I hoped that he would find me and accuse me of treason. Then I would make him do a test where he would find out that it was just mayonnaise. It would be fun to lash out at him for being jealous of my mayonnaise. Do we really have to wait for true love? I'm very excited. You know, I wanted to be very careful not to make love in case Elliot got lucky and found us. However, I think we are safe now. There's no way Elliot's going to spy on me again. Even if he suspects something, he will be too scared to do anything. That's the beauty of my plan. Since he won't check on me, we can make love without worrying too much. Today I am more than ready. It's the first time we've had more than an hour. Just think, soon we'll be able to make love all day and all night, as much as we want. And we can do it in Hawaii, Rio, Bermuda, or in the penthouse of the Hyatt Hotel. I will still keep our current life with my wife on a slow fire to be safe. We're too close to explode now. Tell me again, how long do you have to wait until you divorce her? It will be a couple of years before she turns 30 and inherits her grandfather's share of the business. He's going to pay us a fortune, 7 to 8 figures, to get back the 25% of his business that I'll get in the divorce. He would never give up so much control. Don't worry, baby. We can make love, but only when the time comes and Elliot can't catch us. 2 years? I don't know if I can take it all that long. Dear, we have achieved what we have achieved by being smart and careful. Just be patient a little longer. I promise that I will rock your world as many times as you can stand. Think about what we're doing today as a snack. By the way, you need to get more involved in the divorce, otherwise I'll start looking for another guy. You'd better be joking. Good. I'll go to a lawyer soon and start acting. I think I really don't need to worry about what I'll get out of my marriage while I'm with you. So, is it time to go to the bedroom? No, I don't want to bother with new sheets. Let's do it on the carpet. It will seem dirtier and more interesting this way. And it's easier to clean up. I bet I can undress faster than you. There was a rustle around, and soon Elliot heard the familiar sounds of his wife in heat. The worst part was what she said, "I feel you much better than my weak husband." Elliot was almost catatonic. When he came to his senses, he returned to his office. He called his detective and said he wanted to buy the remaining tape recorder. The rest of the equipment will be returned. He called his lawyer, who was happy to go back to the divorce decision and forget about the new prenuptial agreement. Elliot told Hannah there was a problem. His lawyer quit because he believed that the new prenup was not in Elliot's best interests. He promised her that he had a new lawyer who only cared about getting paid. The new prenup is due to take place in about a week. Meanwhile, Elliot got busy. 10 days later, Elliot asked Hannah to meet him at home. Hannah was shocked to see a replay of the last scene in the house. Elliot, a laptop, a dictaphone, and an envelope were on the kitchen table. Once again, Elliot's face had the expression, "Just swallowed a canary." It would be better not to repeat what happened last time. I'm going to take the sharpest knife we have. You should have said, "Show me the evidence." Hannah had an unpleasant feeling. She searched her memory, trying to find at least some evidence. She couldn't think of anything. Okay, Sherlock, what do you have? First, Elliot played a recording of her conversation with Craig, but all the recording devices were seized. She started to panic. It's illegal to record private conversations. You can't use this in court. Elliot then turned on the video on his computer. It was Craig. Craig confessed everything, saying it was Hannah's idea. He's lying. You must have bribed him or threatened to tell his wife. I will crucify you in court. In court, videos and recordings were allowed. As this was not a criminal trial, and Hannah was crucified. The prenuptial agreement was honored, and she left the marriage with what she entered with, just under $3,000. Moreover, she owed her lawyer a lot. But he was unlucky. Hannah disappeared along with the money and the car.